Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 22nd July 2017. Six private telcos shortchanged government is the first article. You have to see this article in a bigger picture. After the liberalization phase, the public space is decreasing and private sector is occupying the public space. So in this context, lack of clarity across the institutions and weakening of accountability of the government institutions is the major challenge. The traditional institutions such as CAG, they are actually unable to exercise or oversee the operations related to public-private partnerships. So accountability gaps in post-LPG era is stated to be the major reason for corruption. Regulatory gaps are stated to be the reason for corruption by Mr. N. Ram in his book, Why Corruption is Here to Stay. So now, according to this, the telecommunication companies are expected to pay license fees and also spectrum usage charges to the government. Now these have showed or they have malpracticed the accounts so that they can evade these fees. Total it has led to 7,000 crore loss to the exchequer. That's what the CAG report says. Now here there is one catch. The telecommunication companies in their marketing techniques, they offer concessions to the distributors, free voice to the customers, and CAG has counted even that as an expenditure on which the license fee has to be paid, which telecommunication companies are not agreeing to. One way the criticism on the CAG is, it has not evolved itself to the changing patterns of the business after LPG era, and any business loss it tries to see it as a loss to the government. So that's what the major criticism on the CAG. You have to see this issue from both the dimensions. Protection of personal data is right. This is in the context of the data of WhatsApp being shared with the Facebook. In this, the government argument is data is an extension of personality. It is an identity of the individual. So in this context, the WhatsApp sharing the data with Facebook is violation of or breach of privacy and identity of the individual. This is quite contrast to the argument the government is making before the 9 judges bench in reference to right to privacy and Aadhaar. That is what we need to understand. And then get into the editorial page. The Kannada flag, etc. So recently, Chief Minister of Karnataka, he has shown deep interest in having a flag for Karnataka. It is about cultural identity of a state. Why this is growing? It may be seen as a continuation of the literary tradition which is existing in this, or it is an assertion growing in the southern states against the union government's focused approach towards the Hindi. And third is, there is also an apprehension that the Kannada orals is getting diluted because of cosmopolitanism. We can see that as a factor in the globalization as a huge. So we can see from the central government narrative of promoting Hindi, or from overall globalization perspective, or from a local perspective to continue the tradition and diversity and to create an identity for this. So from these three perspectives we can see this argument which is coming up. Digital trade games. Here in a regional comprehensive economic partnership, the discussions which are going on in Hyderabad, e-commerce is the agenda. What is being put forward is global data free flow. So this global data free flow is a mask to cover the data sharing, data intelligence, data industry, etc. So now understand, today data is the new currency. Based on this data, we are getting artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are polarizing and also developing or else consolidating various sectors. If you talk about Uber, it has consolidated the transport sector across the countries. Similarly, Apple with its iPhone is able to do that. So the people who possess this data, they are using this data as data intelligence, and it is developing a new industry. That's why Cognizant has called it as a new means of production. Artificial intelligence is equated along with labor and capital as a means of production. That is what is the importance of digitalization in the future. India has lost this race of artificial intelligence. India was on forefront with regard to the internet and information technology before, but coming to artificial intelligence, India has fallen back. So, India, if it agrees to data free flow, obviously it can lead to digital colonization. That's what this author talks about. H1N1 returns. H1N1, it is related to influenza virus. So H1N1, they talk about the nuclear strands. So in this, the major problem, it undergoes mutations. The gene tracks undergoes mutations. Every year a new strain comes up, so a new vaccine has to be developed. For that, across the countries, a national policy on influenza immunization exists. Just before the start of the season, they take the flu shot. So in India also we need to have the same thing. At least the vulnerable and people in the healthcare sector shall compulsorily get the flu shots. That's what this article talks about. The bind in Bihar. It is about the politics. So there is a post versus principle dilemma for the Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. So here he wants to protect his clean image, which can be dented by being attached with RJD. And second is, if he comes out of his particular position or particular office, it can benefit the BJP rather than Janata Dal or Rashtriya Janata Dal. That is what this article emphasizes. And then, growing LSD blues. It is about drug menace in the urban areas. What are the reasons for the growth of drug menace? One is growth of internet and interconnected world, the dark net. It is providing for new avenues. And second is the local reasons, especially stressed life, broken families, and lack of parental supervision and control over the children. These are the local factors related to growing drug menace among the children. So that is what is this article is. And coming to the news page, 6 private telcos short-changed government. It is about private telcos using the intelligent accounting mechanisms to avoid the spectrum charges to be paid to the government. And then protection of personal data a right. So this is contrary to the argument which it is making, government is making before Supreme Court in Aadhaar case, in right to privacy case. And then the next page, untrained teachers get 2 years to qualify. As for the Right to Education Act, every teacher is expected to be qualified. Either they shall have masters in elementary education or diploma in elementary education. The teachers who are already in government service, these are expected to get these degrees in the next 2 years. If they fail to get them, they may be discharged from the services. That's what this bill is all about. In the last page, I gave you the notes, and this notes is available to you at lax.in/civils-prep. And on Saturday, the news will not be much, so the video will be short duration. So thank you very much and all the best.